This edition of Forge and Anvil in the Van is brought to you by our supporters at Substack. If you wish to join them, go to forgeandanvil.substack.com. We appreciate your support. Hello everyone, happy Thursday. I've got some heavy news to talk about today. Many of you may have already heard of this story, but I've got some updates on the story as well as a few additional commentaries that I'd like to give. This is from Scanner.com by Hannah Claire Brimlow. Jose Ibarra accused of disfiguring Lakeland Riley's skull in arrest affidavit. New details added to the arrest affidavit for Jose Antonio Ibarra give new insight into his behavior during the attack and Lakeland Riley's final moments. Riley, a nursing student at Augusta University, was found dead just before 1 p.m. on the campus of the University of Georgia shortly after being reported missing after she did not return from a run on February 22nd. The 22-year-old was declared deceased at the scene, a forested area near Lake Herrick, by paramedics. Ibarra, an illegal immigrant who was released after being arrested for unlawfully entering the United States in September of 2022, was identified by police who reviewed campus security footage. The 26-year-old Venezuelan national was arrested by law enforcement in Georgia on February 23rd. His immigration status was confirmed by Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. Ibarra was facing multiple felony charges for malice murder, kidnapping, false imprisonment, aggravated assault, aggravated battery, and concealing the death of another. He has also been charged with one misdemeanor count of physically hindering a 911 call. According to the affidavit, Ibarra maliciously caused bodily harm to another by severely disfiguring her body or a member thereof by disfiguring her skull. I'm going to say that again for a moment. Disfiguring her skull. He allegedly concealed Riley's death by dragging the victim to a secluded area. Of the aggravated assault charge, Ibarra is said to have assaulted with the intent to murder by causing great bodily harm with an object. Athens Clarke County Coroner Sonny Wilson told the media that Riley died of blunt force trauma per Online Athens. An autopsy was performed by the State Crime Lab on February 23rd. The prosecution believes that Ibarra acted with malice aforethought, either express or implied, to cause the death of another human being. Athens District Attorney Deborah Gonzalez announced on February 26 that she plans to enlist a special prosecutor to oversee the murder trial. I want to express my gratitude to my colleagues from across Georgia who have supported our circuit during this tragic event at our flagship institution, Gonzalez said in a statement per Fox 5. We will not allow this or any other case to be used for political gain. Our top priority is the safety of every citizen, and we are fully committed to ensuring that justice is served for the loss of every life. That's horrendous. Gonzalez, she just said this case shouldn't be used for political gain. What she means is she doesn't want this case to be politicized by those of us who have been calling for the closing of the border. The reality is this is politics. Politics, if nothing else, is just meant to organize how we live with one another. If we cannot use politics to push for the closing of a border, what can we use politics for? If this is not a case that should be made political, what cases should be made political? This is absolute garbage statement. This is someone who is caught not doing what they should be doing and ultimately just doesn't want to be held accountable for it. So it's horrible. Anyways, that's what the DA for Athens said. The DA for Athens should be focused on prosecuting illegal immigrants for crimes against the country by just entering illegally, let alone the crimes that they commit once they're here through the border. So it's ridiculous. The DA should definitely be held accountable. Some DAs are elected, some are appointed. I'm not sure what the case is for Athens, but my goodness, guys, if you're in Athens, Georgia, just remember what Deborah Gonzalez just said. Riley and her family are set to be represented by Sheila Ross, who previously worked for Fulton County District Attorney's Office. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp said Riley's tragic death struck the hearts of Georgians everywhere and has rightfully sparked national outrage. He called on President Joe Biden to release information about illegal border crossing and asylum claim processing procedures. As I have said many times before, every state is now a border state because of Joe Biden's inaction, and today I am again demanding answers and information from the Biden administration that will help us protect our citizens when the federal government will not, Kemp said in a February 24th statement. Don't worry, guys. Governor Kemp is going to send a strongly worded letter after one of his citizens was murdered and had her skull dismembered by an illegal immigrant. For crying out loud, these Republicans in these state offices are just worthless. You get red states like Tennessee that refuses to let any legislation pass that would actually bring about meaningful change and disincentivize the illegal immigrants from coming to Tennessee. You know, I'm tired of these weak-kneed Republicans that don't know what time it is. Most of the citizens that are actually conservative in nature, they know what time it is. They understand that we're being invaded. So just to prove my point, I'm going to read a few other headlines that are only from this week. Okay, so usually you hear about these things, you understand, oh, yep, here and there, we just got these violent immigrants coming across. No, this is just from this week. Here's one. ICE arrests Guatemalan illegal immigrant convicted of sexually assaulting a child in Boston. Here's another. Salvadorian illegal immigrant arrested in Maryland in connection with murder of 2-year-old. Here's another one. Honduran illegal immigrant arrested for rape of 14-year-old girl at knife point and separate stabbing incident in Louisiana. Those are just a couple of additional headlines from this week. That's 4 in 1 week. If this keeps up, we're eventually going to get to the point where we're just going to see murders of U.S. citizens or assaults of children or rape of children or a combination thereof every single day at the hands of illegal immigrants. I saw another article the other day. I thought about including it in today's episode, but I didn't want to go too long. But it was talking about one of the Central American countries. I want to say it was El Salvador. It said that their crime rates have gone drastically down because all of their prisoners and their convicted criminals have been leaving the country to go up towards the USA. So it's when Trump was blasted for calling people rapists who came across the border, which of course was taken out of context as he usually is, he was specifically referring to the fact that many of these countries will empty out their prisons to save their government budget and just send them to the US so they can cross our border illegally. So literally, we are seeing just murderers and rapists and other convicted criminals from leaving their country to go and commit crimes here in the US. We need mass deportation. We need to close the border, and we need to do it right now. This is why I think it is important to vote Donald Trump in November. You know, Nikki Haley is not going to do anything to close the border. She would keep it open if she could. Joe Biden's not going to, which is why Brian Kemp is absolutely wasting his time with his strongly worded letter. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the media is not going to hold anyone accountable, too. This is another headline that the New York Post put out, and they are rightfully being attacked for it. Migrant charged with murdering Lakeland Riley likely panicked when she fought back. Oh, yeah, the poor murderer. He likely panicked when she fought back when she was trying to not have her skull dismembered. My goodness. Do not count on the media to hold people accountable. Do not count on Republican governors to hold anyone accountable. You have to do the work yourself. If you are being represented by a horrible representative in your state Congress or your national Congress, consider running for office. Or find someone who is running against them that you can believe in. Get to know them first, vet them as well as you can, and then work like hell on their campaign to get that person elected. We need better representation. We need men like the men of Issachar who know the times that we are in, and we need to take action right away. So obviously I'm a little bit heated today because this affects you and I. I've got children. I want our children to be able to grow up and be able to run in the yard and play like we used to do several decades back. But we're living in a day and age where I don't want to let my children and my wife leave the house without me there packing heat. which also is another thing. We have to defend our constitutional rights under the Second Amendment, our God-given rights, I should say. Sorry, that makes me a Christian nationalist in today's day and age now, if I believe that my rights come from God and not government. All right, everyone, I'm about to go on multiple rants if I don't end this here, so I'm going to go ahead and end it. But like I said, get involved, hold people accountable, stay strapped, and watch your six. Watch each other's six. All right, everyone. If you wish to support the show, go to forgeandanvil.substack.com. Really appreciate your support. Hope you have a great day.